Hey everybody, this is Mark with Total Garage. So as many of you may know, and some of you may not, on Thursday, July 18th, Chevrolet and GM had their reveal of the all-new C8 2020 mid-engine Stingray. The first mid-engine car Chevrolet's ever done. It's been in the works for probably at least 60 years. They finally made it a reality, and it was debuted on July 18th. My initial thoughts of the car is it's pretty stunning. They did a really good job. This is their first attempt at doing a mid-engine car, so obviously, I'll talk later in the video about price points and things like that. But given what they had to work with in their first attempt, I thought the car looked really good. Looked really balanced. Especially loved the side shots of the car. It looked like it flowed really well from the front to the back. Me being a huge Corvette fan, I'm used to the front engine, rear-wheel drive Corvette. So seeing the car from the front is going to take some getting used to, obviously. It's really narrow in the front, small front compartment for storage, and then it gets pretty big in the back. Offset wheels as any Corvette, smaller in the front, larger wheels in the rear. They didn't get the dimensions on the release, so we'll probably get that at a later date. But overall, I like the car. I thought it flowed pretty well, looked pretty balanced. It's going to have 12 exterior colors apparently and 6 interior colors. One thing I did notice about it, and they released this later, they talked about more customization is going to be allowed on this C8 than ever before. So if you like the racing stripes down the middle, you like the racing hashtags on the side like they do on the Grand Sport, I think you're able to customize some of the paint and the paint runners along the bottom. So all of that will really give you ways to customize how you like your C8. The first time that they really did that. I know there'll be 3 different kind of seats on the interior. I think they called it a G1, a G2, and then a competition seat. So you'll have 3 options. I'm sure the first one is more for if you're going to be touring the country in the car and not a lot of racing. I think the second seat option gives you a little bit of both. You get a little bit of, able to drive cross country if you had to, but if you want to go to a racetrack on the weekend, the seat will also support you for that. And then there's just the full-blown racing seats. If you're really it's going to be a dedicated track car, that seat's an option as well. One cool thing they did is, most mid-engine cars only have the luggage trunk spaces in the front of the car. Well, as most of you may know, Chevrolet is known for their target tops that come off, that you unlatch under the car on the inside, and then the roof lifts off and fits in the trunk. Well, they didn't want to lose that feature. So they now have, two trunk spaces in the C8. There's still a front trunk space, but then now there's also a space in the back where you can still see the engine when you raise the hatch, but there's also a trunk space in the back as well. So the target top still does lift off, and it does fit in the trunk to give you that open air feel when you're driving. So it's pretty cool that they kept that feature and kept that tradition going. Couldn't have been easy to do, to add a trunk space in the back with a mid-engine car. It's kind of unheard of. That was a pretty cool feature. A very cool new feature on the C8 is, if you're a Corvette owner or you're a sports car owner in general, cars are very low to the ground. So scraping sidewalks, scraping curbs, coming into a parking spot and running up too far happens to all of us. I've done it, we've all done it. So one thing they've done is whenever you come up to a parking spot, if you approach slowly, the car is going to ask you if you want to raise, the front of the car actually raises 2 inches. Pretty cool feature. And then the computer is going to ask you, based on the GPS and where you are, if you want to record or remember where you are at that time. So you hit the button. Again, the front of the car raises 2 inches so you don't ground out. And then the car and the GPS is going to remember where you are. So when you come back to that spot a week later, a day later, a year later, the car will automatically remember when you're going to park, raise the front end. You don't have to do anything. So it really saves you from really screwing up the front of the car. You can do 1,000 of those in memory. So I'm sure all of us, we don't go to 1,000 places over and over again, but it'll record and remember up to 1,000 parking spaces wherever you go with your car in your daily lives. So let's get to what everybody wants to hear about, the guts of the car. 6.2 liter V8. So they dubbed this the LT2. The LT1 engine is what is in the current C7 Stingray and the C7 Grand Sport. So they took that same engine, changed it up a little bit, fortified some of the interiors to make it fit the mid-engine configuration, and so it's dubbed the LT2. 6.2 liter again, naturally aspirated, not forced induction. It's going to produce 495 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, which is pretty good gains from the LT1, I believe, has 465 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. So pretty good increases from the LT1 to the LT2. There's also a dual clutch transmission. So not sure if they're going to do a straight automatic, which they're probably not going to do because it's dual clutch. Not sure if they're going to do a manual. I think the big question is, will they do a manual transmission one day? We don't know. With the mid-engine configuration, it's kind of tough to do a manual. So we'll see if they do that on future editions. Right now it's a dual clutch. So you can either drive it automatic and the car can shift way faster than you could ever think to shift, or you can use the paddles to shift if you want to do that on a racetrack. So those are the two main things. Obviously, everyone wants to know about the engine and what transmission. So again, LT2, 6.2 liter engine, and then the dual clutch transmission. So price-wise, so all they said to us was that it's going to start at just under $60,000. Now, that sounds like a really, really good bargain, and it really is for a car that supposedly they're saying right now is doing 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, which is pretty amazing for a mid-engine car, first attempt at it by GM to do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds at 60 grand. It's pretty amazing. Now that's starting at 60 grand. If I had to guess, if you got a loaded version of this C8 Stingray, it's probably going to run you closer to 75 grand, which is still considerably a bargain given what you get within that C8 platform. A lot of performance, a lot of tech, within a reasonable price, anywhere from 60 to about 75,000. Question is, what's going to come next? That's where I get excited. The Stingray is great. I think they did a great base model for the new C8 mid-engine, but from what I've seen in spy photos, they're also already testing the Z06 version, which they always do for every generation. So that's what I'm really, really excited about. What's going to be next? You have the C8 Stingray, which is going to be a really, really nice car, but how's the Z06 going to look? You know, what's going to happen with that? Are they going to do a Grand Sport version, which they usually do? Then the big coup de grace is, will they do a ZR1 with the C8 mid-engine? Very, very exciting stuff. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. That's my initial thoughts on this. I think they did a great job starting off, but I'm more excited to see what's going to happen with the newer models that are going to come out in the next couple of years. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Hit subscribe. And as we get more info about the C8 mid-engine, we'll be sure to do more videos and bring you more information. Thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate it.